Billie Jean and Mama with Granny Pat too.
Well, hello everybody. It's cold. It's so cold. But I decided that I wanted something sweet, like I always do. Well, I had 2 strawberry Pillsbury moist supreme cakes. Remember, I bought those strawberries yesterday on sale for $1.99 a carton. So that's what we're going to have today. We're going to make a strawberry cake, and I'm going to show you how. Okay, I'm trying to get these strawberries. Well, I tell you, I wouldn't give up on my little strawberry core. That saves me so much time. It is unreal. I've already washed them, and I was just coring them. I'm going to use half in my cake, and then I'm going to use half in my icing. A little bit of Jean's mess cleaned up a little bit. So now I'm going to get one of the little choppers just so I can use it. I've got my juicers and all that, but we're not gonna do that. We're gonna do it with this and plug it in on my wall plug there, maybe. And I'm gonna get some of these, and some of these are kind of large. We don't want a whole bunch. I tried to get my ingredients kind of together so y'all don't have to wait on me. But sometimes that's impossible with me, just like my lives. I'm sorry I didn't come on last night. And every night I just have to see how things are before I can see if I can come on or not. I've got so much going on. And I don't mind some of those strawberries being, remember, give me a bowl here. I don't rinse this out. I don't mind some of those strawberries being a little larger because I don't want it really pureed. It says puree some of the recipes, but I don't care about whether it's pureed or not. Just as long as it's good. And sometimes I feel like that pureed strawberries are not as good as bigger pieces. I just think you need bigger sometimes in certain things, especially like this one we're doing. We want a larger pieces in it. You can use a few to decorate your masterpiece or whatever you're making. Okay. Sometimes I get this on here and sometimes I don't. There, that's why. You have to get that down in there because of the safety. The safety. See that? I don't mind those larger strawberries right there because I'm going to put them in my cake batter bowl. I've got no time. How many choppers and stuff? Let's just get these out of here. Cut them. And I got the big chopper. That I could have pulled out here and But I thought, well, I don't know what I was thinking. Probably not. I probably wasn't thinking. That's kind of a bastard looking little strawberry. Let's get him cut up. Now here we go, BG. This, there, that should do it. Sometimes I shake that a little bit and it'll let that go on down there. That's okay for right there. That's good. Put you back on the shelf. Get this little dregs of mess cleaned up here. Now, I don't want those too small. See, I want those a little larger there. This one I'm going to save for the cake. And this, there's a little bed spot in that one. Go through those and make sure that, okay, beautiful strawberries. And can you believe $1.99? That just amazed me. Really amazed me. While I'm cutting, that's why I'm going to go ahead and do these, because I could do them in a little while. But I'm not going to. I'll show you what I'm going to do with those in a little bit. We've got this for our other. We got our big one for our decorazione. And now then, get our mess kind of cleaned up. Okay. That's a good little thing. I had that on there for y'all to get. It's a strawberry core, and I'm telling you, it's like those pepper cores. You can't live without it. So what I got was one. I had 2 or 3 of these, but I'm going to use the Super Moist Strawberry Cake Mix Pillsbury. They was on sale for, I think these were on sale before Christmas for $1.25. So that's what we're going to have. Just put that in there with your strawberries. Because today is a cold day and we're going to need to get our mess clean. We're going to need some. I thought strawberry cake sounds so darn good. That's what we're going to have. Okay. And to that, I'm going to add to that cake mix. You can use a white cake mix in this, but in a box of Jello, strawberry Jello. But I didn't have the, I had the white cake, but I wanted to use the strawberry. So that just kind of eliminates your white cake and your strawberry Jello if you just go ahead and buy your strawberry cake mix. I'm going to use this Pioneer flour. It's something new I've tried. It's a Texas flour. And it's made in San Antonio. We're going to try it. I hadn't tried it in many years, so I saw it and I thought, I want to try that out and see how that is. So I'm going to put 3 tablespoons extra. Oh, goodness, y'all. I'm looking to make sure. Okay, I guess it's 3 tablespoons extra. Then I'm going to add, mix that in. Now to give it more of a cake flour, a consistency. Get my cornstarch. I'm going to add a tablespoon, heaping tablespoon of cornstarch to that. And since I want it awful red, I'm going to put some red coloring in it. You don't have to worry much about it. That'll get we'll just kind of mix that in. Get that kind of mixed in. This is my grandmother's old General Electric bowl that came with her General Electric mixer. So we'll use our bowl and mixer today, and I'll think about my grandmother. Okay, let me get my, I'm going to go by just the way I do it here. Let me see on the box compared to, this says use your 3 eggs, and let me look at my other paper real quick to make sure. So what I'll do is I'll just go ahead and use my box. I'll add my 3 eggs to that. Then I'll add my 1/2 cup of oil to that. So I had those. Then I'll add a cup of water. Let me get it out of the dispenser here. Okay. Now then, let me kind of get that. I'll just kind of mix it a little bit just to get those eggs kind of stirred in there. Get it started. Usually it says add your eggs 1 at a time, but I didn't do it today. You can follow your directions. Now I'm just going to beat that. Well, you can see those pretty strawberries down there. I want to beat this about 2 minutes probably. You want it fluffy. Make sure all that's mixed down the bottom of your bowl. That was pretty good. That may not have been quite 2 minutes, but that's good as I want to get some spray. Now I had my, I use these trays. I can't find my roll tray, so this is the baking trays that I use. I can't find my straight ones. They're here, or maybe not. So what I did is I took one of those, put my seal pad underneath it. My seal pad mat underneath that. Then I got my wax paper and I cut it out to fit my pan. Now I'm just going to spray that. This is that powder, got flour in it. Spray with flour. That's all I had, so that'll work fine. Now I'm just going to take this and I'm going to clean my tray up just a little bit. Clean my work up just a little bit. Now I soaked that wax paper pretty good. Now I had some parchment paper, but I just went ahead and used the wax paper because I thought that'll be fine. Now I'm going to get this and I'm going to pour out here what we need. I don't know if we'll need all of it, but we'll see. You can make a cupcake out of this or whatever you decide. But this is the way I wanted to do this today. Usually it'll fit in there. But I added those strawberries and stuff, so you have to, I think it'll be fine though. Oh, it smells good, y'all. Real good. Smells really good, y'all. I can hear that wind blowing outside and it's so cold, y'all. You just don't know. Or maybe you do. You probably, it doesn't matter where you are unless you're in Hawaii or Belize or somewhere like that. I'm going to get that down just to the edges. I'm going to just shake it a little bit. Okay, I'm going to put this in my little oven, a little convection oven. And we will do this for 350. About three, let me take my other racks out. Such a tiny, tiny kitchen, I have nowhere to put nothing. Okay, 350. 4. Let me go down. Let's turn that up to 25 minutes, and we'll leave it at that for right now. If you're doing it in a regular oven in your 9 by 13 pans, you'll want to put your batter in there and do it 350 for 45 minutes until set and done, you know. So now let me get a little mess kind of cleaned up here. Maybe I won't have to cut the camera off today. Now then, I'm going to get my Ermine. Okay, I'm going to do my frosting. Well, as you know, a lot of times nothing ever works correctly, so I'm having to do a voiceover on this video. So what I do to my frosting is I take my sugar and my flour and I put them into my pan on the stove, and I'll get a whisk and mix that really well there. You don't want any lumps in it. And to that, I'm going to add my milk to my sugar and my flour. Turn it on medium heat. I want this to get up not all the way to a boil, but to where the ingredients start to become somewhat similar to the thickness of pudding. I'm going to add about 5 drops of red food coloring just to give it that nice strawberry look. So I think we're eating strawberry icing filling. I'm going to add my strawberries now, the ones that I've done in the chopper. So I add all those and mix that around good into my little pot there. I'm using the granite pot because I don't want any. Oh, I've got food coloring all over my fingers, so don't think I've been cut. That food coloring gets on you can hardly get it off. Okay, that's already starting to give a kind of a thickness to it. Now we'll just stir that until that, like I said, gets somewhat like a pudding. Now we'll have to take this after we get it puddingized and put it into a pan so we can get it out of our hot pot. I'll get me a wood spoon and I'll use that so I don't have to scratch my pan with that whisk. So we'll just let that until it gets pudding-like, the thickness of pudding. And since the microphones have decided to go by the wayside, I'm going to do this the best that I can. I may cut in and out, and it may sound terrible, but I'm doing what best I can. As I tell y'all, somebody gripes at you about doing something, just tell them I'm doing the best that I can today. So once we get this, we'll put it in a pan and let it cool off to room temperature. Then I'll show y'all how to incorporate this icing and apply it to our cake. We may add music so it'll be more enjoyable since the microphone decided to go by the wayside. Okay, now it's time for us to make our icing. So we're going to put a cup of butter in our mixing bowl, which would be 2 sticks of room. Make sure it's room temperature. Do not let it be cold at all. Make sure it's room temperature. I can't stress that enough. Now we're going to get our mixer. I've got I'm going to get the old General Electric, and I'm just going to mix that butter. Beat the butter till it becomes incorporated into each other, and it becomes a light color. It'll lighten up some, not a whole bunch, but you'll beat that until it becomes a light color. It don't take long if your butter is at room temperature. So now we'll add our 2 tablespoons of vanilla. Excuse me, it's one tablespoon of vanilla. So follow the recipe. Y'all know I get sidetracked sometime, and then I'm gonna do I think it was just a very little salt. But you need that for your butter if you're using unsalted butter, or if you're using salted butter, then I would not put in the salt. So we're just gonna mix that Mexican vanilla into that. Get it whipped really well. See, it's getting lighter. The more air you put in that with your beater, it will get lighter. And since I'm having to do a sound over, since my microphone went defunct right in the middle of this video, which is nothing new. Billie Jean probably ran in there and unplugged it, and so I'd mess up. Thank God I've decided how to do a voiceover, or we would be all kind of messes, wouldn't we? Okay, I'm just whipping that. See, I'm watching this on the screen on my computer and talking into a microphone so I can try to get the voice in sync with something that you're watching on the video. So that's the way they do it, in TV. But I never thought I'd have to do it, but I'm glad I've learned how, because half of this video would be just ruined. Okay, now I've got that butter. I'm going to take my strawberry filling that has been cooling to room temperature, that we cooked on the stove with the cup of sugar, the flour, the strawberries. And I'm going to add 1/4 cup at a time. So let's get 1/4 cup, and we'll put that into our butter mixture. And we're just going to beat this until all the strawberry mix has been beat into. That's what gives this icing and filling an absolutely divine flavor, is because you're mixing this. See how that's creaming in there? A lot of light color. And then you scrape your bowl down and continue this till you get through with all the strawberry. And that's such a decadent icing. I mean, it's so good. I could just eat the icing by itself. It's so good. If y'all hear that little popping, that's my heat stove. I've never said what it was, but I didn't want y'all to think it was the camera doing it. See, now I'm scraping my bowl down, getting all that goodness off the bowl, and I'll add a 1/4 cup more of my strawberry mixture. And boy, that strawberry mixture is so good. Look at that, how that creams up. I mean, that's just, can't you just see some of those? I have a recipe on there to make those cream horns. If you haven't watched it, you might. That was one of my early videos, so I'm not for sure if it's even. This is a year later, and I still don't know what I'm doing. But that cream horn video was good. But this strawberry into a puff pastry filling, oh, it would be absolutely delicious. Delicious. Okay, now we've got not much left, so let's just go ahead and put that into let's get our uh, bowl scraped down one more time, or can see that, get it off that mixer because you don't want that. And I flew it all over the kitchen, I think, at that time. I was talking to y'all, which did not get recorded. And but now I'm cleaning my bowl off, and then we'll put the rest of our strawberry filling into our butter filling, and we'll whip that. And that'll come out that decadent strawberry icing filling. This cake is so moist, and that icing makes it so delicious. I mean, I just can't stop saying it because it's probably one of the best. Even if you make your strawberry cake from scratch, uh, I would put a lot of sour cream in it to make it moist because I mean this icing deserves a very moist cake. They need to go together. It's just kind of like wedding cake, white wedding cake with white icing that's moist and good. That's the way you want your products. And that's what I strive to do. I'm not as good as I was at one time. My mind gets a little forgetful, but I still do okay. I provide for Mother and I, so she hadn't felt good today at all. So I'm sitting at my desk editing this, checking on her every few minutes. See, now look at that. Just look at that icing. Oh my gosh. If you even have a small molecule of liking cake with icing, which I don't know anyone that don't, strawberry cake, this is the best you've ever had. I mean, it's absolutely wonderful. So now I'm gonna undo the cake and get that ready. We'll talk to you in a minute. Okay, so I've got the cake out of the oven and I flipped it over onto some foil, and you can see the wax paper. I'm going to take off. And now the cake, uh, I cooked it too fast, so it's gotten kind of cracked. But that's not going to hurt the outcome of the end product at any time. Uh, so I've decided what I'm going to do is I'll let that sit there and cool a bit. It's already cooled some, but I think I'll let it cool a little bit longer. And now I'm going to take my knife and I'm going to cut this into two separate panels. Uh, I'll make it more of a long cake instead of a roll cake because the batter was too thick. We can't make a roll cake out of this, and I didn't have my roll cake pans, so I had to use what I had. So I'll adjust this on each piece of foil, and I'll put the foil seam into the middle so I can adjust that later on, and then it will be easier for me once I get the filling put on one portion to flip the other portion onto the top after we get our filling encompassed there. So we'll put our filling on each section of our cake. That's some really good icing. That Ermine icing, $300 icing. Oh, there's a lot of. Well, the original is Ermine icing, and a lot of people use it and add their name to it. But that's one of the best icings you can get for a filling or for cupcakes, cakes. It's just good the way you cook that down. And the recipe is on the site there, but it's probably one of the best icings that I've ever found. So just get that onto each section of that spread evenly with your spatula. Now you want, since this is it would be similar to a cream horn maybe icing. So you want to get generous with it because you want, when you bite into that cake, you just want a mouthful of that filling. Now we'll take uh, get us some strawberries. And I'm just going to, I've cut those, remember earlier. So I'll lay those just down the length of my cake portion. That one's a little wide. It needs to be cut in half. And just continue on down the getting that strawberry is good because when you cut into that and you get a bite of fresh strawberry and that explodes into your mouth, it's very surprising, but oh, it's so good. It's just so good. Especially with that icing when it's encompassed with this ermine icing. Uh, this is this is not dry like a strawberry shortcake. That cake is just, it's so good, and then the ermine icing just. Okay, now we're going to get that up to the edge and scope out how we need to flip this onto the top. So we'll get it adjusted, and we'll get that pulled over a little more onto that. Here we go now. Let's flip this onto the top of our other section. And I'll do it. Well, fold that under so I can just get a small edge there because you want to see what you're doing once you flip that or start to flip that. But it should flip right on there and press as you flip. Once you get it down, and it'll be secure. Make sure your cake is going to flip well. Here we go. Let's try this with our foil. Let's flip it. Okay. So that's exactly what you want to make your long loaf-like cake. And then that filling will marry each other in there, and it'll set up to where it's like glue. So when you cut it, it'll come out, especially if you let it set for 4 or 5 hours. The icing does not get crunchy or hard like that other icing, but like you do for a wedding cake or a birthday cake. This icing just stays, oh, just so good. I mean, you can't beat this cooked icing. And I stress that so much because it's, you think, oh, it takes takes quite a bit of effort. Well, and quite a bit of ingredients, 2 sticks of butter, a cup of butter is a lot, and then you're having to mix it, and then you're having to add. But I'm gonna tell you, it's worth it. It's worth every inch of work you put into this. I'm gonna tell you because I just love this icing. I mean, I like a lot of different icings, but this one is one of my favorites because you can, uh, if you're making a coconut cake, you can swirl this on there, press your coconut into the sides, top of the cake, uh, and then let it set. And it's just, if you've ever had those Pepperidge Farm cakes, like they have in the freezer section, that's the icing similar to what this is. It will be creamy no matter what you do to it. So if you go wrong, uh, you can't really go wrong. But it's very forgiving, and it's very forgiving if you're not a master cake icer, or and I've got out of practice. I'll promise you that. I've gotten out of practice, but I just kind of swirl that a little more because those swirls, they just stand up and they look so good. And I didn't want to ice this. I wanted it more of the Italian looking cake. So that's what we're doing, the loaf Italian looking cake, and that icing, it just tops it off, as they say. I hope y'all try this recipe because it's so good and so easy. Okay, now I'm gonna just take the big strawberry that I kept from the first, and I'm just gonna cut it in fours. That'll just give us a little decoration that didn't take anything to do. It just is sitting there, and it's beautiful. It's simplicity is what makes this kind of decorating beautiful because you didn't have to sit there and use your turntable and ice a round cake and get water on your spatula and make it. It's just, this is kind of a crumb looking edging on it, but I'm going to tell you, it's absolutely beautiful and it'll cut beautiful even right now. Without me letting it set, I'll show you. It will cut. Let me get a couple of saucers. I'm going to use our white Haviland saucers because they'll show up the pink cake. Now watch this. I just took my bread knife and I've cut that. And we just put it together. So this will show you see how that cake just come out, not letting it set at all. So it's just so good. Now I forgot I didn't have no extra strawberries, so let me take one of these off the top here, just so you can see the way I would serve it if I was doing it having guests. I'm just going to cut this in 2 pieces and then I'll put that piece back just so I can show you how beautiful this rough looking kind of cake that we made is. And if you could taste it, you'd say, oh boy, this is a strawberry cake that's so moist, it is out of this world. Yeah, you couldn't get one better at La Madeleine's, but they don't have strawberry cake. I'm pretty sure they do have a good coconut cake. And I've got that recipe. But now you can take this and put this in the ice box in your taker with the foil and uh, wait for your guests to come. I wish y'all was here. You could have a good piece of strawberry cake with Mom and I. Whoops, I nearly knocked that off. So we'll talk to you soon. God bless you. God bless the United States. Wish you was here for some cake. Bye bye.